wanted to build a tribute gun. This whole project took me the better part of 4 years to get done. I looked for 2 years trying to find a gun made in 1905, which was the same year that he was born. If he's still alive, he'd be proud of having a gun made the same year as he was, like I am. I got this old gun. It was in pretty rough shape. And we had to do a lot of metal work on it. Can you see this okay? These grips on here are extremely rare mesquite. They're a different quality than that other one that was on that 1898. There's only 6 pair of these in the world. And here again, this wood came right off of the place out here, off of a piece of mesquite I got out in the yard. Ed Beasley back in New Jersey has 2 pair of these. I have 3 pair. I have a pair on this. I have a pair on this old Smith here that was made back in the 1950s. And I have a pair on a butt line in here. I'll have to get that out in a minute. We can go right to that butt line from here. The 6th pair is owned by Rick Kalasek. And he's the guy that did all the photography on the pictures on your site. Now this gun has got all Texas brands on it with the exception of one. I was vain enough to include my own on here. And Rosetta Wills, Bob Wills' daughter, was involved in some of this. And Dr. Charlie Townsend, who wrote a book on Bob Wills, and he was also a friend of his, personal friend, rather. And I was telling him I was trying to get the fiddle that had the bands all around it, that I understand Merle Haggard has, but I couldn't get any cooperation out of Merle Haggard. Couldn't get past his secretary. So Charlie told me that he had a book. In his book there was a page, when you open it up, like this, on the left page, was a topographical map of all of the places around Turkey, Texas, where Bob Wills was born. And it had all the ranches on there, the names of them, and all the counties around, surrounding where he was born and grew up, and he actually worked on some of these ranches when he was a young fella, because he did cowboy for real. And over on the other page on this side was a list of the names of the ranches with the registered cattle brand that goes with it. So he gave me permission to use all of those brands on the gun. And I went even further, and I had all the engraving done down in Texas. And after I rebuilt the action and did a lot of the metal work, I just sent this down there, and he did the bluing and recolor case hardened the gun back to Colt original. And here again on the back of the back strap is Bob Wills' name, the date he was born, and the date that he died. On the bottom is 3 B's. That was his personal brand. That stood for Bob, Betty, and Baby. Baby being Rosetta Wills. And the last I heard, about 2-3 years ago, Betty Wills was still alive living up in Las Vegas. I don't know if she's still there or not, but this has got all these Texas brands around it. Now on the back strap here on the top, I had him put a fiddle and a bow. Bob Wills played the fiddle. And on the right rear of the frame here, I put my brand. Charlie Townsend said I had to use his brand on there too, and I put it on there, but I don't remember where it is now. But these are all authentic Texas brands. Some of the other engraved guns I have Southwestern brands on them. From Oklahoma, Texas, Wyoming, Arizona, and California. It covers a pretty wide spectrum there, and it's all historical, all researched. And we go to that butt line that has the other grips on it. And this also is a rare old gun. It's a butt line made by Great Western. Now, I used to make the Great Westerns over out of the factory years ago, back in the 50s. And I never saw a butt line like this when I was in the factory all the time. And I found this by accident, and I called Bob Dubell, and he collects Great Western. I think at last count he had something like 88 or 89 of them, and he said he'd never seen a Great Western butt line either, and if I ever wanted to part with it, to let him know. He says he has since found one, but here's the 6th pair of that rare mesquite. And probably never will be any more of this because it's so scarce. I've never seen it. I've been doing brickwork since '56, and I've never seen wood like this, not in this character.